Molly's favourite spot is in my office chair, and I can't move her. Who's a pretty girl. So pretty. So that is the reason why I'm filming on my floor right now. Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Skye, and today we are doing an updated tattoo tour slash get ready with me slash Q&A. I asked some questions over on my Instagram of anything tattoo related that you guys would like answers to, so we're gonna answer them today while I'm doing my makeup, and I'm gonna give you a little tour of all of the art on my body. I'm not gonna be talking too much about the actual products that I'm using, however I will list them all in the description down below. We've got a lot to get into. I think I have about 18 tattoos now. Contrary to my last video, which I quickly rewatched just to like see when I got up to, I had 9 in my last one. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump into it. But yeah, so the first tattoo I ever got was this tiny moon right here. It is the size of like a coin. It is the smallest tattoo that I have. Well, we'll get to fingers later. But as a standalone, it is the smallest tattoo that I have, and the meaning behind it? I like moons. And I feel like since that was my first tattoo, I'll answer this question alongside it. And the question is there anything you wish you had known before getting your first tattoo? I have been wanting to get tattooed since I was about like 8, 9, 10 years old. I remember my first experience with seeing tattoos was my dad getting his first tattoo, like on his arm. It was a rose. It became a hyperfixation as a child, a lifelong passion, dare I say. I would constantly be Googling pictures of tattoos, like horror stories, like everything you need to know, videos, like artists, everything. I even was contemplating becoming a tattoo artist when I was younger. So yeah, I was extremely prepared with everything. However, if I had to give myself a piece of advice, it would be, you don't need to buy the tattoo specific products for aftercare. Obviously listen to what your artist recommends, but I remember early on I was like, I'm getting like the highest quality, like all of this like tattoo like aftercare kits. I'll be honest, all I use is unscented soap and lukewarm water to wash them, and I like when they're healing, and I use Palmer's cocoa butter, and I go through Palmer's cocoa butter like it's water. Now my second tattoo was quite a jump from the first one. It was my owl, this big boy. His name's Archimedes. He's named after the owl in The Sword in the Stone, a fantastic movie if you've never seen it. The artist that did my owl is Lenihan Tattoo. I will link all of my artists and mention all of them down below, because they truly deserve all of the love and respect. The only reason why I didn't say who did my moon is because, I'll be honest with you, I don't remember. But the meaning behind the owl, now we're gonna get deep, so trigger warning for self-harm and poor mental health. As a teenager, I struggled so much with my mental health. I have been struggling with my mental health ever since, like, for literally as long as I could remember. I think the earliest that I remember is like me being like 6. So I would self-harm a lot as a teenager, and one way that I found to cope was to draw on my arms and legs. It wouldn't always work, but it would be like a creative outlet to try and prevent myself from hurting myself. And I drew an owl like on my arm, and I was like, I felt such a pull towards it. I was like, I need this tattooed on me one day. So I did. I found Laura on Instagram, and I hit her up and I told her, like, you know, the story behind my owl, and then I said, like, I would like you to take some, like, creative liberty, like, I want this to be like a collaboration of sorts. It doesn't need to be exactly like the picture, and she made something stunning. Like, I really liked the original drawing that I did, but she refined it so much and made it so beautiful. And it was my second tattoo. Like, I went from this little baby thing to this, and I remember when I did that, I was like, wow, I'm a tattooed bitch now. Okay, now let's move on to the third tattoo that I got, and that is my kangaroo paw flower on my arm. Now, the kangaroo paw flower is one of my favourite flowers of all time, and it is the national flower of Western Australia, which is where I grew up. Perth is my home. That's where I grew up. My happiest memories. I feel like the last time I was truly happy, except for this year, the last time I was truly carefree and happy, I lived in Perth. That's depressing. Anywho, so this tattoo was the tattoo that made me meet Heidi Kaye tattoo. Now, I'm gonna be mentioning Heidi a lot in this video because she has become a friend of mine now, and I looked up to her so much when I was researching tattoos and all of that, and artists. I found her and she does the most beautiful, like, black work, line work, animals, flowers, like literally everything that I love. And then when I finally was able to book in with her, I was like giddy. It was like meeting a celebrity. I was like, I'm gonna meet Heidi, no way! But yeah, that's as far as the meaning of my kangaroo paw flower. It's the one tattoo that I get questions about the most because I feel like a lot of people don't know what this is. They're like, what the fuck is that on your arm? Which makes sense because it is a very, very unique, distinct flower. I feel like that leads us into this question is, how would you describe your tattoo style slash vibe? Now, I would describe all of my tattoos as black work with fine line mixed in, and my theme of my tattoos is the left side of my body is all flowers and nature, and the right side of my body is animals and creatures and all of that stuff. It provides a nice balance, it separates things, but if it's something central to my body, like for an example, we're gonna get to these two lavenders, obviously because I wanted two of them, I wanted them mirrored, so I didn't mind if something flower related was on the animal side, because it's mirrored. That leads us into the lavenders on my chest. I was really scared to get my chest tattooed because at this point I'd only gotten tattoos on my arms, so I was already quite familiar with like the pain that it would be on my forearms and all of that. I had no idea what chest would be like. My chest tattoos were actually the least painful tattoos I've ever got. My chest tattoos were wonderful. I fell asleep while getting them tattooed, like I had a little nap. It was great because you're laying down and it's just relaxing and like, Now the meaning behind my lavenders, there's actually quite a lot of meaning behind them. One, lavenders are a sapphic symbol, which is really like a close heart of the queer community, and I've always just felt drawn to lavenders, and even though myself, I'm not a lesbian, I am pan, non-binary, trans, I always just felt a special warmth from the sapphic community. Lavenders just symbolize like the beauty of femininity, which I really appreciate. In addition to that, the first candle that I ever created for my brand Rain Cloud Candles was called Lavender Skies, so yeah. And the final meaning behind them is actually the most sentimental and important, and that is I got them right after I left. Well, we actually went on a break. It was essentially a breakup. If you need to go on a break in a relationship, word of advice, especially if the relationship is abusive, just fucking leave them. Don't go on a break. It's not a break, just break up with them fully. But yeah, I decided to go on a break with my abusive ex. So we were basically broken up, but not really. Anyway, and I did not feel beautiful. I mean, I didn't feel beautiful for a very, very long time whilst in that relationship. He was very... I don't really want to go into details because it still affects me to this day. But he was not a nice man. He doesn't even deserve to be called a man. He was a horrible boy. He never liked tattoos that much. Like, anytime I would talk about how excited I was to get like new ones, and I would like share like how happy I was and whenever I started getting tattoos, because we got together when I was 15, so obviously before I got any tattoos, and he was always like never really on board with it. He was like, oh, you're gonna look so weird, like you're gonna regret them, like ugh, they're just tatty. Like he would say such hurtful things, and he would say like, I wouldn't find you as beautiful, I wouldn't find you attractive anymore. Anywho, so right when I went on that break with him, I was feeling so sad about myself, and I decided, fuck it, I'm gonna get my chest tattooed. And I remember sharing it with him that I was gonna get lavenders on my chest, and he went, oh, that's bold. Are you sure? Like, and was really like not supportive about it, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I felt really sad that he felt that way, but it doesn't fucking matter because I got them and I felt on top of the world. I remember looking at my chest and looking at myself in the mirror after getting them done with near tears in my eyes because I was like, I look beautiful. I had not felt that in such a long time. I remember this was still like early on with me like knowing Heidi, so like I couldn't quite like express how much the lavenders meant to me, but I remember telling her like, you don't understand how happy I am right now. Okay, so the next tattoo I got, I went back to Laura Lenihan and I got my snake, my big, beautiful, stunning snake, and I love her. I love her so much. And yeah, meaning behind the snake, I like snakes. I have a really prominent childhood memory of me going to feed the chickens at my grandparents' place. This was in Australia. They lived in like the countryside. Not quite the outback, but the countryside. And I remember walking down to feed the chickens and a snake slithered against my foot. And I was wearing thongs, flip-flops. I was wearing those, and I remember being a kid being like, oh, I was mesmerized. And when I walked back to, like, after feeding the chickens, the same snake slithered against me. It was a black snake. And I remember going to my mum excitedly being like, Mum, like, I just saw a snake, it was up against my foot. And she obviously was mortified, because I was like 10, maybe? I was young. And when she was like, what did it look like? And I was like, oh, it was like a small black snake. And I was describing it. We're looking up like snakes that were local to our area, my grandparents' area, and we identified that it was a dugite, which is one of the most venomous snakes in the UK, in Australia. So yeah, my mum was fucking mortified at that, and I was even more excited. I was like, oh my god, it was a venomous snake, that's so cool. And my mum's just there like, fucking A. And that's one of my favourite childhood memories. So I asked Laura, can you draw a big ass fucking snake? I don't care what style it's in, what it looks like, I just want a big ass snake. But the only like requirement that I had was that I wanted the head to be on my wrist, so whenever I wore long sleeves, their head would stick out, because how cute is that? And it is fucking adorable. And it goes all the way up my arm, it ends like right above my elbow and all of that. And I will say, this area, like elbow area, elbow ditch, and top of the wrist, horrible pain. And of course, when Laura was doing it, started here, ended here. I was astral projecting in that chair. It was so painful. I don't recommend it, but at the same time, fucking worth it, so yeah. My eye makeup, I'm actually going to be using the Glaminatrix Sugar and Spice palette. I know I said I wasn't going to be talking about the makeup in this video, but like, I want to use her. Rightio, so my next tattoo that I got was my spontaneous one. I have a couple of spontaneous tattoos, but this was my first true, this was not planned in the slightest. Heidi posted on her stories that she had a cancellation for like end of that week. And she was like, you know, had a cancellation, if anyone wants it, they can take it. And I looked at my work schedule and I was like, I'm not working on Thursday, which was the day of the tattoo. I ain't working Thursday, I'm booking in. This was on Tuesday. So I literally booked in like a couple days before. And Heidi was like, sweet. Nice, let's go. And when Heidi asked me, cool, so what do you want? I remember thinking, flowers. Any flowers, I just want flowers. Because at this point, like, this forearm was basically completely covered except for this area. And this arm had this one, so this area was really empty looking, so I was like, I need to fill it, let's just put any fucking flowers. I've had people ask me, what flowers are these? I actually don't know. And the spontaneous one unintentionally became one of my most meaningful because literally a week prior to me getting this done, I had relapsed with self-harm on this arm, like literally the area that was gonna get tattooed. It was healed enough by the time Heidi was tattooing, but yeah. It kind of felt like a sign from the universe that like, here you go, you need something. Especially because this arm I could no longer self-inflict wounds, but this arm I still could because it was blank. My coping mechanism is tattoos. So yeah, that tattoo, even though I have no idea what the flowers are, my best guess is that the larger ones are buttercups or something like that, maybe cherry blossoms. And on this day, actually, this is kind of funny, I told my brother, hey yo, I'm getting a tattoo by Heidi, because he had actually booked in with Heidi, and it was going to be his first tattoo, and I was really excited for him. And I was like, I just got a spontaneous tattoo right now. And he was like, oh, you stole my tattoo appointment, as a joke. And I was like, wait, what? And he said, yeah, I had to cancel, like, on Heidi. I felt really bad, but I had to cancel because it just wasn't, you know, work and all that. It wasn't lining up. During the appointment, Heidi said to me, did you book in because your brother had to cancel? Like, I fully thought that, like, that's the reason why you booked. And I was like, I actually had no fucking idea that he cancelled. So that's a funny little coincidence. Now, the next one that I got was actually a gift for my 21st birthday, and it's my kookaburra right here. My good boy, I love him so much. Again, this one is also done by Heidi. Now, my parents asked me, what do you want for your birthday? And the only thing that I want is tattoos. I don't really care for much, like, material possessions. So I just said to my parents, if you could both just, like, give me a bit of money from each of you and I can, like, finish up, to afford a tattoo, that'd be sick. So that's what they did. And I wanted to get a kookaburra because I fucking love birds. This is a random fact about me and probably my autism showing. I fucking love birds. Like, they are just beautiful creatures. Every time I see birds, I'm just like, whoa. I used to go bird watching all the time. I really want to get back into bird watching and, like, see if I can identify, like, English birds, because I only would bird watch in Australia, so I'm not too familiar with the English species of birds. And as a kid growing up in Australia, kookaburras would wake us up in the morning. Like, you just hear them, like, laughing and that very distinct noise, and they're just beautiful fucking gorgeous birds. So I got my boy right here. He also doesn't have a name. Now, I'm trying to think, what was my next tattoo after that? Because I'll be honest, after the kookaburra, I do not remember the timeline. Now, if I had to guess, I'm pretty sure the next one I got was my hummingbird right here. Now, I love the placement of my hummingbird. I think it is so pretty on the shoulder, and also shoulder, very easy spot to get tattooed. I highly recommend it. Now, I have started a project of my closest family and friends choosing a tattoo for me to get. Obviously in my own style on my body, and I just want things to commemorate my loved ones. And my mum chose a hummingbird, and obviously the first one that I was gonna get dedicated to a family member was gonna be for my mum, because I love her. Words cannot describe how much I love that woman. She has been a powerhouse. She's raised me from day one as a single parent, essentially. She's my best friend, and truly I wouldn't be here without her in so many ways. So I wanted to commemorate her, and she bloody loves hummingbirds. I wanted it close to me, as close as possible, because this is my mum, and the name of this bird is Little Yeelna, because that's my mum's nickname. Rightio, and the next tattoo that I got was my first leg tattoo, and it's on my ankle, and this is Rodney the Rat. This is such a tone shift from all the other ones that I got. This was my first silly one, and this has started a trend on my ankle. My right ankle is my party ankle. You'll see why. So this was another very spontaneous one. At my old job, I was really good friends with my manager. I'm still really good friends with him. We went out for coffee not too long ago, actually. He went to a new tattoo artist in my city who was basically doing hand poke tattoos from their home. Now, normally this would go against every single thing that I recommend. Don't go to someone's house to get tattooed. But at this point, I was very deep in my tattoo addiction. I haven't really talked about it too much in this video. I do firmly believe that I am very addicted to tattoos and getting tattooed because it's become a coping mechanism of mine. And especially, it's basically replaced self-harm for me, but instead of, you know, hurting myself and feeling really upset, I gained something really beautiful out of it. I am trying to manage this. It's the reason why I have so many tattoos. Not just because of that, I do genuinely love them, but it's something to note, so... But I didn't really want to make this video all about that, because I feel like that's quite a negative thing, but in reality I love all of my tattoos. I think they're all stunning. But yeah, let me explain the story of Rodney the Rat. So this artist was very new to tattooing, and they did a lot of like silly little doodles and that sort of thing. And I had this little doodle from a card that one of my best friends, Emma, gave me for my birthday. I'll put the picture right here. She put a little rat in there, because we call each other rats, like that. And she drew him and said, like, the birthday rat. And I have never loved my birthday. Never really did up until, like, this year and last year. I started to enjoy my birthday. So it meant a lot to me that she, like, went the extra effort to, like, do something silly in there. And it did really make my day. So I wanted a tattoo to commemorate one of my best friends, Emma. And what better way than to literally have a doodle that she drew on me. So that's Rodney the birthday rat. He's got a little party hat. He's really silly and goofy. I remember I came home and showed my mum afterwards, and she was like, Skye, this is the one tattoo that I'm like, why the fuck did you do that? And I was like, it's cute, no? And she was like, yeah, you're right. I feel like I've been blending this for so long. I'm not like an expert when it comes to blending dark to light, so like I don't know when to stop. Right, so my camera battery died, so I thought I would just finish up the eye look. This is what it looks like. So pretty. I get really like down myself when I feel like I'm not doing things that are very creative, but I still think this looks fucking sick. But yeah, Rodney the Rat. He was my first hand poke tattoo, and I'ma just say it, ankle is one of the worst spots to get tattooed. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Not fun in the slightest. It's like wrist but amplified. It's horrible. And Rodney the Rat was actually done by Pokeybits on Instagram. I'll link them down below. I don't know if they still tattoo. I haven't seen them post like much work or taking many bookings. I hope that they're still working, because I think they're really talented. And I feel like they could go really far in their tattoo journey, but we'll see. Anyway, I'll link Pokebits down below. They're lovely. Really lovely, safe space, good experience. All of the artists that I have been to have been absolutely wonderful. Okay, what was the next one? I think the next tattoo that I got were my duckies. I have 2 ducks, a duck and a duckling. And these were again done by Heidi Kaye Tattoo. Ducks are one of my favourite animals. I love ducks. Big fan of them. And at this point I was basically wanting to fill up this arm and complete this sleeve. It's not close to being complete. I do have like some gaps here and there, but I feel like it'll be done within the next like year or 2. And the duckling is so fucking precious. Like, look at his tiny little face! Like the way that Heidi captures like the charming nature of like animals is just, it's so cute. Let's answer a question. So this one is for my friend Zoe, actually. She asked a question for you about a tattoo I want. Lunar moth and hydrangeas. Yes, I think that is sick. I am planning on getting a moth tattoo somewhere at some point, probably as gap filler, because I think moths and like butterflies are very good gap filler. I prefer moths to butterflies. I just think they look fucking cool. Butterflies, they're pretty, albeit a bit basic. Nothing wrong with basic, it's just, I think moths are cooler. But with hydrangeas, that would look so cool. I feel like because lunar moths kind of like match the energy of hydrangeas, so Zoe, do it. Do it. Never ask me for advice when it comes to like tattoos, or like, can you talk me out of this? Because I 9 times out of 10 will be like, yeah, you do whatever you like. Live. Live! I love that meme, that's such a good meme. I am the definition of fuck it, life's too short, do it. If it makes you happy, and it's not hurting anybody, and your finances and all that stuff, fucking do it. Right, now the next tattoo that I got was a gift for my 22nd birthday. So this was the first tattoo that I got this year, and it is on my sternum. It is a sword done by Heidi, once again. And this was actually the last tattoo that I got from Heidi. I haven't seen Heidi in so long, and my next one I will be booking with her. Defo some gap filler because this area is really bothering me. But anyway, this sword with like the leaves and the sparkles, it's so pretty, and it's on my sternum/stomach. Now to most of you, this is just a sword. It's just a pretty cool looking sword. But to me and many others that are infatuated with this franchise and this video game, It's a video game tattoo. It is a sword from Skyrim, and it's the Dawnbreaker sword. It's a picture of Dawnbreaker. It is a sword that you get from Merida. She's one of the Daedric priests, like goddesses, and she is famously known, you probably have seen the meme of, "A new hand touches the beacon." I remember being a kid and then just seeing that for the, like hearing that for the first time, picking up Merida's beacon, being like, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, Dawnbreaker is a fucking sick sword. It does fire damage and like sunlight damage to any undead. I'm probably describing it really wrong. My brain's all over the place. But yeah, that is a sick sword. It's one of my favorites in the game, and I wanted a Skyrim themed tattoo because I've been playing the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, that game, since it came out in 2011. I was 10 years old. It was November 2011. I remember my brother getting the game, and I've been playing it ever since. I have it on every single console that I've ever gotten. The only console I don't have it on is Switch, and I will be getting it on my Switch one day. Skyrim is my favorite game of all time. It is my #1. I have a couple games that are like really high up there, but Skyrim's my darling, my beloved. I have almost completely completed an achievement hunt for it. There's only one achievement I have left to get on my Steam profile, and it's the achievement that you have to get at level 80. So it's gonna take a little bit for me to get to level 80. I'm currently on level like 69. And I'm literally just grinding, trying to get there. But yeah, Skyrim is my favorite game of all time. I know too much about the game. It means the world to me, so I wanted a tattoo to commemorate that. But if you didn't know it was a video game tattoo, you'd be like, oh, that's a cool sword. I love tattoos like that, where like, if you know, you know. And also, I wanted to get it on my sternum/stomach because I am not a big fan of my stomach. It's something that always has been something that I'm not a big fan of, especially when it comes to, I am currently in eating disorder recovery. I've been in recovery for 4 years. Yay, go me. I'll talk about it more a bit later with another tattoo that it's more relevant to. But my tummy is something I've not really liked. I have a bit of a squishy tummy. So whenever I see this sword poking out when I'm wearing a crop top, I'm wearing a crop top right now, you just can't see. I see this sword poking out and I'm just like, oh, look at it. Alright, so these next tattoos I got within the span of 2 months. Yeah, I kind of went through a really severe goblin phase, and this is when I realised I do actually have a tattoo addiction. I need to stop. But anywhoosies, I've got them, so let's talk about them. So at my current job, my manager, who I'm also friends with, I'm kind of good with being friends with managers. But my manager told me about a studio in my city and that they were having a flash day for their 6th birthday of being open, and I was like, flash day, you say? It was gonna be the first flash day I ever like went to. So I was just like, let me have a look, let's see what the artists are posting. And I discovered 3 artists that I really, really love. One of them doesn't work at this studio anymore, but we'll get to them. One of them I tried to book in for the flash day, but they were fully booked. Rightfully so, because she is incredibly talented, but I did get it a couple days after flash day. And the last one still works at that studio, and his art is incredible. He is the only man that I've been tattooed by, to my knowledge. I think the first person that like tattooed my moon was a man, I think. I tend to not get tattooed by men, and that's purely for the sake of trauma. Love it. But that tattoo was done by Mateusz, and this is her. This is Molly! He does a lot of like dark, really like gothic, sort of like edgy tattoos, but his flash sheet was a bunch of cute like demon animals, and I saw the cat holding a skull and I was like, that's my Molly! Looks like my Molly! So I had to get it, and I used it as gap filler on my arm. And she's right here. She is the fucking cutest thing. Every time, I get a lot of compliments on this one when people notice it. They think it's the sweetest thing. Like, she's so, so cute. And getting tattooed by Mateusz was great. He is really, really lovely, really chill guy. I remember he was really patient with me, even though, like, he was running over time during flash day, because it gets really chaotic during a flash day at a tattoo studio, let me just tell you. Even though he was running over, I was, like, trying to, like, really think of where I wanted it to be placed, and he said, just take a breath, like, it's okay, like, I'd rather you, like, you know, this is gonna be on your body forever, just don't stress. Like, take your time, doesn't matter. Who cares if I'm running over? Doesn't matter. He was really wonderful, really patient, lovely, always checking in, great guy. Highly recommend him. Just had to pause to apply my lipstick because I'm no good at talking and applying lipstick. This is a Rare Beauty Kind Words lipstick in Wise. I love this one. Now the other tattoo that I got on Flash Day was this boy. His name is Derek, and I saw him on Billy Martin's Instagram on their flash sheet. They are a trans, non-binary tattoo artist. So yeah, I saw this on their flash sheet and I was like, Rodney needs a friend. He needs a friend. This one was so spontaneous and I was just like, fuck it, we'll put him there. And the fact that he's saying he is also really sweet. I initially was not like, I didn't want the text saying he because I don't have any text on my body. I personally don't really like the look of text for the most part. Some of it's alright, but mostly I'm like, I don't like it. But the he was so cheeky and cute, I had to, and he's got a little party hat, and I feel like that like leads into this question really nicely, is one that wasn't your favourite at first but has grown on you. Now, when I saw Derek, we're calling him by his name, when I saw Derek the duck, I was like, yeah, he cute, I'll get him. But I wasn't like, he wasn't my favourite immediately, which sounds bad because he's so sweet and I love him dearly. So I was kind of like indifferent towards him at first, but the longer that I looked at him, and all the pants that I wear always show my party ankle, and every time I looked down at my ankle and I just saw him, I was just like, why did I ever, like, have doubts about you? Now, the person that was fully booked on Flash Day was nic.n.poke, and nic.n.poke, she has the same energy as Heidi for me. She does hand poke tattoos, and a lot of them are really delicate, really, like, soft. And I decided to get some gap filler from her, and I got this little lemon! I thought that it would fit really nicely in this really awkward spot that I've got, and lemons are cute. I think they're really sweet. Like sweet tattoos. I love anytime people get like lemon tattoos or like oranges or different fruits. I just think it looks nice. It's just very aesthetically pleasing. And I will be going back to her for a lot more gap filler because I really want like a strawberry right here. We'll talk about future tattoo ideas in a bit because I did get a question about that. Now this next one was a spontaneous one as well. Again, this all happened within the span, like these ones happened within the span of a week. So I got like, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 tattoos within a week. But Billy posted on their stories that they had a cancellation, and for some reason with me, if a tattoo artist has a cancellation, I just feel incredibly sorry for them and really guilty because I know that like being cancelled on and trying to fill that gap is a lot. Anyway, someone cancelled last minute and I was like, I'll be here, I'll do it. And Billy was really up for it. They were like, all right, what do you want? And I was like, I want another addition to my party ankle. And I want Gavin. Now let me get Gavin. This is Gavin. He is my gay autistic slug. This is one of those like sensory slugs that is really good if you are neurodivergent of any regard. But he has become my emotional support. Like, I love him so much. Greg got him for me on my birthday, on my 22nd birthday, and he has literally not left my side since. Everywhere I go, he's coming with me. This video is an absolute mess. My camera battery died, and I'm filming this on another day because, life got in the way of things. I'm not too sure where it cut off, but I believe we were talking about Gavin, my tattoo of him, and yeah, but I thought he fitted perfectly on my party ankle, so I asked Billy. I just want him with a little party hat. Now that leads on to this question, which is, do you plan to only get black work tattoos? Now, yes. However, you can tell that in this tattoo of Gavin, it is the only tattoo that I have that has colour in it. So when Billy actually showed me the design of Gavin, they showed me one in completely black and then the one that I went for, which had the coloured party hat. And Billy said that they chose pink and green because the day that I got Derek, like on the Flash Day, I was wearing like a pink and green makeup look, and they said that they loved it so much they wanted to like use those colours. in the tattoo, and that was really, really sweet to me because pink and green is one of my favorite color combinations ever, and the fact that they noticed that and like made a note to do that in this design meant a lot to me. And I think the pop of color is really nice. I don't think I'd ever get full color tattoos, obviously never say never, because I mean, fuck knows, that could change. I love looking at color tattoos, but I just think for myself, I just prefer black work, pretty much. I will say that color tattoos are some of my favorite to look at. It's very much the vibe of I would have that as a piece on my wall, but not on my body personally. And that concludes my party ankles so far, and we only have a couple tattoos left to talk about. So the penultimate tattoo is my thigh tattoo. Now this was done by Tracy Laguea. I am definitely pronouncing her name incorrectly. She is from Spain and I cannot pronounce Spanish for the life of me. But this was done by Tracy, and I had always wanted a piece on my thigh, like on both of my thighs, but I really wanted flowers on my thigh, but I wasn't too sure, like I wasn't picking on what. It was just kind of like if I saw a design that I really loved, then I would get it. And I found Tracy on Instagram, like just in my feed, and she does stunning black work. I mean, all the artists that I follow and have gotten work done, they all do beautiful, beautiful tattoos. And she expressed that she wanted to get into some more fine line work, and I saw the design of the peonies and I was like, those are gorgeous, I'm getting those. Now this tattoo is my biggest tattoo that I have. Before that, previously, it was my snake, but I think this one is just a little bit bigger than the snake. It did take a lot longer. All of the shading that you see are each individual single needle lines. So it took a very long time. This was the only tattoo that I had to tap out of because in total, like, I was being tattooed for 7 hours. So I did have to break it up into a day session and then an extra hour the next day. And I had never tapped out of a tattoo, but I was feeling so... I was just feeling so exhausted, and you know, when you're getting tattooed for that long, like, it is really tiring. Being tattooed for any length of time takes a lot out of you, combined with the fact that I have problems with fatigue and I'm disabled. Like, I just get really exhausted. Exhausted doesn't even cut it. And because of how long it was taking, I was really feeling the pain halfway through, so she did have to use numbing spray. Again, the only time that I've actually used numbing spray. But the overall experience was really, really lovely. I know that this was like one of the few tattoos where I was just like in so much pain. Thigh is not fun to get tattooed. It isn't my least favorite. I think because it was so big and just took a long time and all of that stuff, and especially because it goes up on my hip as well. The hip was not fun. Placement's beautiful. Pain, I hated it. But Tracy was really, really wonderful, so kind, so compassionate. We had really great conversations, and she kept checking in on me afterwards. She's such a sweet, like, lovely, lovely soul, which is really fitting because this tattoo is actually quite a meaningful one. This is something that I always find a little bit hard to talk about because it is so, like, this is one of the things that is like so personal that like I struggle a bit with it, but I try and be as open about it as possible. But since I was 7 years old, I had an eating disorder. I had anorexia. It developed into anorexia when I was a teenager, and I basically suffered essentially my whole life with it. I can't really describe, if you've never dealt with such, what it's like, because it is just so, like, it really consumes you and changes you as a person. Especially if you're going through other, like, struggles. I mean, life itself is a struggle at times, so I was dealing with a lot, and at my lowest moments, like, I almost, like, passed away from, you know, anorexia, and I fully thought that that's the way that I was gonna go. But as I am, like, sitting here, I am about to enter my 4th year of recovery. November would mark my 4th year of being in recovery, and it's been really difficult, one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with, but it's been so freeing. I never thought I'd actually be able to say those words, that I'm in recovery, you know? I never thought that I would get to that stage. And I am currently the healthiest weight that I have ever been in my whole life. I am also the biggest that I've ever been. And when I say that, like, you would look at me and you wouldn't, like, think anything like that. But for me, being, like, a recovered anorexic, I was extremely underweight my whole life. And one place on my body that I always hated were my thighs. Like, my stomach and thighs were, like, I hated those the most. If I could, I would, like, get rid of them in, like, horrible ways. Like, that's what I was, like, how my sick brain was willing to go that far if I could. So I knew that I wanted to cover my thighs in something nice and beautiful to kind of, like, make me want to show them off more and make me like them more. Because like I mentioned with my sternum, because it goes onto my stomach and I'm not really a fan of my stomach, it's kind of made me like it more. That's a really good way if you are like struggling with body confidence and you want to get tattoos. Tattoos really do help. May not be the best coping mechanism, like financially, but it really, really does help. And for me, it was so healing. Like, the whole experience and, like, meeting Tracy and, like, getting to talk to her about life and stuff, it was really, really wonderful. Like, I couldn't think a more perfect person to do it. Well, Heidi. I will have Heidi complete the rest of my thigh with other flowers, but especially since this was with, like, a completely new artist, I couldn't think of a more perfect person. So yeah, my peonies on my thigh represent recovery. Now the final tattoos that we're going to be talking about, the last ones that I have. I know this video is near an hour long at this point, but we'll get there. We do have a couple more questions to answer, but I'll do those at the end. But the last tattoos I have are my fingers. Now ignore that, that's eyeliner. I had to mix up the colour that I wanted to do little stars on my eyes. So these are my fingers right here. You can see that my nails are a little bit appalled. Don't look at my nails, but I do have all of my fingers tattooed. My thumbs just have like a little dot at the top. And these were done by Nicole, nic.n.poke. Now the other day I did get these touched up, mainly this hand for like the dot work here and in the leaves. And basically my thought process behind these, I saw Nicole post some beautiful flash of finger tattoos because she had been really wanting to get more into them because she's done them before, but she wanted, like, you know, to build up more of a portfolio. And we decided to make it more my own by doing like the same on both hands but swapped. So as you can see, like, these are like swapped around. Like the pinky, I can't do this. The pinky and the ring finger are the same with like the leaves and the dots, but these two are like flipped around, if you can you can see. And we both decided to do the leaves dot work as well as like these dot work. You can see that like some of the ink has like fallen out. And I will say I was really expecting my fingers to hurt probably the worst because obviously it's just bone at that point. Honestly, so easy. So easy. Now I do embroider in my spare time and I have poked myself with a sewing needle on accident many times. It just felt like that. So it really wasn't too bad. The only points where I'm like, yeah, that fucking sucked, were the dots like at the very top here. So like this right there, like right next to the cuticle, that sucked. I will not like sugarcoat it, that fucking sucked, but at least it was just a dot. And also like near like this part, like that's the knuckle, right? Like what's this bit called? I actually don't know what this bit of, one of the joints. Anything near that point really stung as well. It pretty much feels like permanent jewelry because I don't really wear rings at all, but like this is like some permanent jewelry on me. I love it so much. I think it really fits the vibe of all of my tattoos. And also, okay, this is really silly, but I also thought that when I get married, I say when, I would love to get married one day, but whenever I get engaged, married and all that, wouldn't a ring look so pretty on top of like these leaves? Like just right there. Like that'll just look gorgeous. I know I literally could just buy a ring and put it on that finger, but it's different. It's different, okay? So let me answer the last couple of questions and then we will wrap this video up, shall we? One of them is, what's your favorite tattoo? Now, that's like asking a favorite child. I don't have one, it changes all the time. I'll definitely say that my fingers, I think because they're the newest, it's always the newest is the favorite, I'll be honest with you, but like my fingers are definitely up there as one of my favorites. The snake, I get the most compliments on the snake, the lavenders, my thigh, Molly that I have up here. Fucking hell. I love Rodney too, and Gavin and Derek. I can't pick a favorite. I can't. I know nobody asked this question, but I'll answer. What's my least favorite tattoo? Because I have been asked that like in person by a few people. I mean, I'd say my least favorite, probably my first one. And it's not because I don't like it. It's just that it's just there. I forget that it's there and I'm just like, yeah, it exists. It's like, it's not one that I'm like fawning over. But it holds a lot of memory for me, and because it's the first one, it's the one that started it all, so I mean, I still do like it, it's just not my number one. And the final question is, any future tattoo ideas? Yes, 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 yes. So I'm pretty much planning on being fully covered one day. I am so excited for that day. Like, the journey is going to be so awesome. I feel like I'm making myself look more like me. So I'll just fire some quick ones that I can think of off the top of my head. I do want to get a little strawberry gap filler, maybe like here or somewhere, like a little strawberry. That'd be cute. I am gonna get a lizard, a little gecko or a lizard right here to fill this gap because I think that would be really lovely. I also want to get something to fill, I can't show it, but I have a gap right here that I showed earlier. I want to get something there. I'm probably going to say to Heidi, because I'm going to go to Heidi next to get that gap filler. I am going to tell her, I want something cute cute little critter, go wild. Choose whatever animal, because I have that much faith in Heidi. I want to get some geese. I love geese, I think they're beautiful. I want to get a pigeon, a moth somewhere. I want to get like a little ghost somewhere as well. I want to get so much like Halloween cute things like that. Yeah, I think those are all the ones that I can think of off the top of my head that are like in my active like brain of what I want. But I still have a lot of my body left to cover, so who knows? Who knows? But anyways, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm so sorry that this was really chaotic, like camera battery dying and like the get ready with me portion kind of went out the window. In the description down below, I'm just going to leave the details of the makeup look that I was actually doing for the get ready with me, not the details for this look. If you want to know the details for this one, it will be on Instagram, so they will be there. Do let me know, do you have any tattoos? What are some meanings behind them? What are your future plans? I love everything tattoo related, so leave it all down below. And maybe I'll do another video just answering like frequently asked questions if you have more questions. This was kind of like a catch-all video, and it's probably going to be one of the longest videos on my channel at this point because I've been talking so much. If you'd like to see more makeup content from me, you can follow me on my Instagram. It's faerie.skye right here. I post all my looks there and I'm active on there every single day. If you'd like to support me further, I do have my own small business, Rain Cloud Candles Co. We're a small queer-owned business based in the UK and we make handmade candles. The link to shop will be down below, along with our social media if you'd like to support us. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you here, and as always, stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!